Hi, and welcome back to this encaustic vase part 2. We left off last time with making marks into the wax. This is a process called incising, and I'm preparing the vase to add some oil paint and enhance those marks that I'm making. Here we go. I've chosen a Winsor & Newton Black Ivory oil paint to use as my contrast color. Now, I have chosen to use vegetable oil, which is just a simple cooking oil that you can find in the kitchen section. There are multiple options that you can use for a blending medium when you're wanting to add the oil to the wax. The wax is generally resistant to most oils, so there are a lot of options out there, but I like to use this because it's cost effective and easy to clean up. You want to be sure to apply the oil liberally and make sure that you push it into all of the nooks and crannies there of the area that you want it to be applied to. I decided to go ahead and cover the most of the vase with it. I wasn't sure at first if I wanted to just do that strip, but decided to go ahead and cover the majority of the vase at this time. Now this is one of my favorite parts of encaustic painting. It's when we take the paper towel and we rub this excess paint off and see all of the different marks and contrast points that we have created with our texture. It is important that you remove the most of the oil paint off of the vase or off of the wax. If it is thicker or cooled up too much and you're going to apply more encaustic wax, it will have a tendency to not cure properly and cause a source of delamination. Now, if this is more of a surface layer, you do have a little more liberty to leave more oil on the surface, but I tend to usually steer more towards clearing off as much of it as possible. I do find that the vegetable oil does leave a little bit of a residue, so usually once I have most of the oil paint removed, I will take a clean, dry cloth and just continue to rub the oil residue. It's hard to see in the video, but when in person you can see it is a little bit shiny. And now you can see all of the marks that I made with those tools earlier, plus all of the texture I created with the wax is showing up quite nicely on the surface. Now at this point, I want to do a light fuse to set that oil into the wax. Again, any areas or pockets that the oil is cooled up can be a little damp, so you need to use some caution so that it doesn't spill or move around on the wax. So be patient and go slow. And remember that glass does heat up and retain the heat. So just make sure you go slow and be very careful. At this point, I decided that I wanted to add a little garnish to the top of the vase. I had previously found some hemp cord in the jewelry section at the local store here, and so I am now dipping that into the encaustic so that it has a better, it adheres better to the surface. So I've dipped it in there, let it cool slightly, and now I am placing it onto the vase. As always, I needed to fuse this onto the surface as well. Unfortunately, I overfused a little too much and ended up moving the cords around. So they're not quite as evenly spaced as they were in the beginning, but I like the organic look, so in the end, I was happy with it. I realized in some of the areas the cord was not sticking to the wax as much as I would have liked, so I decided to use a fan brush and add a thin layer of medium just to help that bonding. Again, wanting to make sure that that cord doesn't come off down the road. Once I applied this layer, then I did go back and go ahead and fuse it again. I decided to add some R&F, I believe it's Ancient Gold Encaustic paint. It's a paint color that I just recently purchased and I'm just in love with it and I kind of want to just paint it on everything. But in this case, I thought it worked really well with this vase. I realized I got some in an area that I didn't want. So again, the wonderful thing about encaustic, if you make a mistake or what you think is a mistake, you can just go ahead and scrape that area off. Realized I didn't really want the brush strokes showing, so I decided to go ahead and go over the whole area and clean off some of those thicker spots using a pretty light hand. I'm not applying very much pressure at all to get that off of there and reveal the white that's underneath. So as the encaustic cooled up there in that cord area, I realized again some of the area was of wax were a little bit thicker than what I had wanted the look to be. So I just took another tool again and pulled some of that wax off of there. Then I was trying to decide if I wanted to do more to it as I was using that gold layer in and decided that I was going to go ahead and push this just a little bit further. I decided I wanted to push that gold color back just a little bit, so I added some white encaustic paint over the top of it to create a little texture and also mask it a little bit. And then I decided to go ahead and add that ivory black on top of that to pick up the contrast points in the texture and just make the vase seem a little more cohesive. I apologize because I got caught up in what I was doing, trying to get this cleaned up, knowing it was almost finished, and didn't really tip the vase as much as I should have so that you could see the outcome. But I will show you here in just a couple minutes how it turned out. As always, it requires a light fuse to set that layer in, which is what I'm doing here, and then it's just about all done. Well, here it is, all finished. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you'll come back and see another project soon.
Remember to give me a like and a subscribe.